going on, guys? It's Bear with Portakeeper. Tonight I want to show you my new Atago pocket refractometer. I'll show you the ins and outs of kind of what it does and how to use it. I'm learning as well as sharing. I understand the basic concepts of it, but at the same time I want to learn some of this together. So pretty simple packaging, pretty neat, really kind of a quality piece. I would say it's a laboratory piece of equipment, but it's on the small end. Turn it on, just hold down the start. It's going to show all these L's for low. If you're not familiar with what a refractometer does, you put a little bit of liquid in this well, and it shoots a laser or a light into the well, and it has a collector on the other side. So it'll calculate the differences off of the reflection of the liquid. So in this case it's coffee, and this one it's specifically made for coffee. It does bricks and total dissolved solid. TDS is total dissolved solid. You can actually take your TDS reading and convert it to extraction yield, which is usually what people are looking for when they're trying to dial in maybe like a roast, a coffee roast, or they might have like a bean that's a little bit more problematic to brew. I think that's what most people use it for, and just consistency. So this is the pocket refractometer from Atago. I want to take a step and actually brew some coffee with it. Let's check out this SD40. I got my rocket in the background. I got some Good Brothers Sumatran beans in the background. I really have not played with this. I have some distilled water. We're going to zero it, and we're actually going to see what happens. So let's get it set up. So I'm going to say first things first, let's zero this refractometer. Let's turn it on, hit the start, and I have these sterile pipettes. So the best way, there's a couple different ways that people recommend. I'm actually going to do it off of distilled water to begin with. But my machine upstairs actually uses water softener water. So it has a water softener. It's plumbed into it. I'd probably recommend using the water that the water softener has. So we'll put a couple drops in there. Just fill up the well. Just partially. It doesn't need a whole lot. And let's hit 0. So now we're at 0. We hit start. It calculated about 0.08 total dissolved solids. Very low. It should be pretty much zeroed. For the most part, I mean, this is kind of grocery store distilled water. It might not be completely pure, but it should be basically 0. Pretty close to 0. So let's set up a shot. So for the shot this evening, I have this Good Brothers Sumatran Gallo Ache. Fairly recently roasted. Brent, he's all about roasting it, and he'll get it out to you same day or next day. I have a handful of beans from him. I have my portafilter preheated. I just need to wipe it out. I'm a little bit surprised I have a little bit of crud left from last time, but it is nice and preheated. And then what I'm going to do, I have my scale. We'll zero it, and let's do about an 18-gram dose. It's getting pretty close. Let's take one out. Oh. Okay, went right up to 18. The rate on the scale is a little bit slower than my one upstairs. Let's grind. I have this Turin SD40 I really like it. It's really cool grinder. I want to put it on, let's put it on about 4.5. Such a small, really neat grinder. It's conical. I've been using it for espresso. I actually didn't think it was going to be good for espresso, and I've really liked it for espresso. Use the bellow. It really didn't take much on the bellow to blow out everything that's left. We have 17.8 grams on the out. Let's prep our puck. Preheated portafilter. I don't have a, oh, I just lost a little bit. I don't have a WDT tool down here. Let's use the puck press. Super cool. Perfect puck every time. And I'm actually going to brew our shot. And let's calculate our total dissolved solid. I'm going to move my camera. Okay, let's brew our shot. I flushed the group head. Let's go ahead and brew it. I'm not measuring it. We're not measuring the extraction yield. I'm just kind of playing with this tonight. This SD40 really is a pretty neat grinder for the price. I've really enjoyed it so far. It might not be quite perfect, but it makes really good full-bodied coffee, good espresso. I mean, it's really nice all around. So I let it go a bit long. Let's see what the refractometer shows. So the whole point of this video is to show you how this meter can detect the total dissolved solids in coffee. Right now, this is for the most part, it's maybe a minute off the espresso machine. I have my sterile pipette. Some people use filters. We're not going to use the filter. The Atago, they say that you don't really need a filter. Some of the VST, they say you get better results with a filter. What we're going to do right now, this is actually pretty hot. It's actually going to change as it cools, but we're going to do it as it's pretty hot. It actually has the 22.0 degrees C, and what we want to do with the pipette is go below the crema and pull a sample. So let's fill up the well and let's hit start and see what happens. So right now we got about 8.36% total dissolved solids. I believe I'd have to look at the scale again. Between 8 and 12 is pretty much your ideal range. So we're actually on the low end, but it's still quite hot. This is 24.9 degrees Celsius. Let's take a look here in a few minutes after it cools down. So as it's cooled a little bit, we're at about 23.6 degrees Celsius. I just click start again and we are at 8.47, so we're almost 8.5% total dissolved solids. went up a little bit as the temperature decreased. I'm going to give it a few more minutes. Let's see if we can get it down to about the 22 degrees where we started, and do it again. So I'll wait a few more minutes. Okay, I let it cool down to a little bit less than the 22 degrees Celsius that I was aiming for. We're at 21.9 degrees C. And you can see that our total dissolved solids, it uses the temperature, and I don't know if it really compensates, but it's best to have it close to room temperature, at least less than 100 degrees, I think, Fahrenheit. So in this case, we are at 8.78% total dissolved solids. It's still kind of on the low end. It was a really good shot. I actually tried some, even though it's a little bit late. Really cool tool to have on your tool bench. It's going to be really helpful as I dial in some of these grinders. If I'm doing like a side-by-side comparison, grinder to grinder, obviously I'm going to go off a taste first, but I also want to make sure that I'm not completely over extracting or under extracting some of these beans. So this tool, it shows me where I'm at. Really cool addition to the workbench. The other popular brand is VST. I'd like to pick up a VST. Actually, their website, the VST website, their contact me link doesn't work. There's a whole lot of links that don't work, so kind of concerning, but whatever. I'd like to contact them, ask them some questions. I got this Atago one. It's really cool. It does the bricks and the total dissolved solids. Really all that I care about. And it's the barista version. It's made for coffee. We're looking at the total dissolved solids. Some people with the bricks, you can kind of convert from bricks to total dissolved solids, but it's not all that accurate. And I've had some people show me how it's really not overly accurate. I know a lot of people do it. I recommend getting one made for coffee, just turned off, that measures total dissolved solids. Really cool. I mean, kind of parting thoughts, it's really small. I've used like full-size lab refractometers before, not for coffee, and they definitely don't fit in your hand. They're a huge piece of equipment. Small in your espresso machine, but still a pretty big piece of equipment. So this is pretty neat. Make sure to check back. I want to use this in a lot of my reviews. Let me know if you have a VST, the Atago, any other brand. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Just anything about it. So make sure to subscribe to Portkeeper, and just really let me know what you think of this. So I'm really excited. Make sure to check back. Thanks for watching.